All right. Welcome back to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It is 118, June 2026. So 1818, make a wish. So this is my second podcast for today. Well, actually, the first one for today. Last one, I literally did it like 10 minutes before yesterday. I think it was like 11:50 or something. Um, So I'm just gonna be straight up with you all. I've been going a little hard in the paint. Um, YouTube has been more chill lately, knock on wood. Um, but I did some. I did an episode on ticks and health and stuff. I've been going hard in the paint as far as like Israel and Judaism and the Talmud and child trafficking and Epstein files, and I ain't gonna lie, dude, I'm waiting for a fucking strike or something. Um or a cease and desist letter. But I've been saying allegedly, I've been doing all the legalese as far as like etymology and stuff. I'm just waiting for like like a strike or something. Um I'm gonna go hard in the paint on this episode. I'm just in that mood today. I'm just kind of six gun Larry, fucking shots fired, you know? And this has nothing to do with anti Semitism. This is not blood libel. Um, I have no problem with Hebrews. I just have a problem with Baal and Molech worshippers. Um, you know? And I've kept my mouth shut for a long time, so during the Jewish synagogue tunnels that were discovered in New York, you guys know the one with the bloody and shit-stained mattress that they pulled out. You guys seen the footage of the Hasidic Jews coming out from underneath the tunnels and um, all that weirdness. So I didn't report on it because I ain't gonna lie, and this is a confession. I had these views for years since reading the Talmud, since watching a film called, uh, there was one called 6 Million Lies, which was a really good one. But then there was a one of all these news reports with like actual evidence and documentation of Jewish rituals going on in Russia, going on in all parts of Europe, of like Jews like kidnapping goy children, and they do this like ritual where they puncture them like thousands of times without killing them, and there's a bowl underneath that collects all the blood, and they drink the blood. And there's just like it was on BitChute, and it's an amazing documentary, but it's literally like 2 or 3 hours, and it's like showing article after article after article after article. These people are the synagogue of Satan, and they've been run out of 109 countries. And I don't give a fuck. Like, if you want to call me a Nazi, whatever, I don't care. I know the YouTube crowd, because they're kind of blue pilled. They're not grown up enough to like get on Rumble or Spotify or BitChute. They're not gonna be able to handle this shit because they're kind of pussies, you know. I love y'all on YouTube, but like, you know, there's other sites where we have freedom of speech and shit, and we can all come to the adult table. Like, stop sitting at the little kid table. I hope we all can have a adult conversation about these things. So anyways, though, I didn't comment on the Jewish tunnels when they first got discovered, of that synagogue that was going on in the underground tunnels with the Jews in New York City. So there's two things that happened here recently. I didn't comment on it. Oh, that was what I was saying. I was confessing my sins and I was asking, please forgive me for being so much of a fucking pussy. And I mean it. Like, I should have spoke up earlier about my true beliefs and my true feelings about certain, Saturn and Baal worshipping cults. I kind of mentioned it here and there, and I'm like, I can't go into it because it was too much of a touchy subject. I was too much of a fucking pussy. But now that these Epstein files are released, now that I know that I'm not alone in my belief systems, that everyone is kind of talking about this shit now, I kind of don't mind talking about it, because it's like, as weird as it sounds, like when you think you're the only person alone, it makes it makes you think like people are going to call you a Nazi or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's scary. But now that people are waking up, I want to talk about, so we all know about the Jewish tunnels way back in the day. The footage, the bloody mattress with shit and stuff on it. The footage of the underground tunnels underneath the synagogue. We know about that. Then here recently, there was footage, and it was even on mainstream news, of all these people going down in tunnels, coming out. They were not wearing Hasidic clothing. They were changing their clothes and jumping in cars. So right after that, this is June 12th. So today's the 18th. This was 6 or 7 days ago. I'm not the best on math. 71, the number that I heard from the reports that I've been watching, because like I always say with journalism, I used to be a journalist and shit. There's always this thing called fog of war, meaning not every single thing is going to match up as far as news agencies. And a lot of people, the conspiracy community especially, they like to go, oh, that's order out of chaos. That's that's the elites fucking with us. It's not really that conspiratorial. I used to be a journalist. I wrote for the Garrett Echo. I wrote for the Garrett County newspaper. I wrote for the Danville newspaper, and I wrote for the Harrodsburg paper. I used to be a freelance journalist, a writer. What it is telephone effect. If you don't know what that is, they used to do it in kindergarten of, I have a banana in my pocket. It's in my left pocket. Tell the next kid. And by the time it gets back to you, it's something completely different. Some goofball said, I have an orange in my right pocket. You know what I mean? And then the teacher goes, see, that's called the telephone effect, you know? And it does happen like that. It's called fog of war. Every journalist is trying to get the first video, first article out there. I love being the first one to report on stuff, you know? Yeah, it's fog of war. It's not so much conspiratorial, using Occam's razor. So I seen that first one, and then I seen the second story. Now I seen the third story, which came out on the 12th, and I heard about it literally like 2 days ago, I think. A bunch of Jewish girls apparently went into some tunnel. 71, as far as I know, it was 71 Jewish girls, is from what I heard, went into a tunnel underneath New York City, where all of this Jewish tunnel shit has been going on. I find it really fucking creepy and really fucking weird, dude. So I wanted to bring up the Times of Israel, and let's delve into this. Like, let's see what they have to say, because I'm sure they're going to say, oh, this is anti-Semitism, this is blood libel, you know. When does it come to a point when there's like so many coincidences, it's not a fucking coincidence anymore? So Jewish schoolgirls get lost in New York Creek Tunnel. Anti-Semitism ensues online. So here's the picture of the tunnel. Actually, it looks pretty. Ain't gonna lie. Looks like something off of a hiking trail. This is probably in some park in New York, but it leads underneath the city. It's always tunnels, man. Little side quest, but I ain't gonna lie, dude. After studying Pizzagate for so many years and the DUMBs, the DUMBs, and secret tunnels and child trafficking, after I've been studying this for so long, this is a little side note, but did y'all ever start looking at Ninja Turtles as weird? So, it's amphibians, reptiles. Well, amphibians and reptiles are different, but loosely lizard people who live in underground tunnels and they're obsessed with pizza. Does anyone else think that's fucking weird? I don't know. As a conspiracy theorist, I started because I love Ninja Turtles. Don't get me wrong. I have a Magic the Gathering Ninja Turtles card set. I love Ninja Turtles. I watch Ninja Turtles. I'm a huge fan of Ninja Turtles. I'm never going to stop liking Ninja Turtles. And I'm never going to stop liking pizza. Actual pizza. I'm still going to love pizza and Ninja Turtles. But, like, I don't know, dude. I was like, did the guy who created Ninja Turtles know something and was trying to tell us something? You know? Their master's a rat, you know? Like, I don't know. It's just so weird. Like, you start connecting dots. Like, here's another one, too. I'm not going to delve too much into it, but go look at watch the movie Goonies. Now that your third eye is open, now that you guys know about, like, Pizzagate and child trafficking and underground tunnels, go watch the movie Goonies. It is so hard to watch now. Like, it's a bunch of kids. They're running from kidnappers, literal kidnappers, in underground tunnels. It's literally, and it's I think Goonies was Spielberg too, which that dude's shady as fuck. We've been covering him recently, and watching it now, you're like, holy shit, this whole movie's about child trafficking. Like, it's dark as fuck. So, comments like Jews to roaches and rats, Master Splinter, tie incident to Shabbat tunnel saga. So, first of all, right there, Shabbat. It's literally called the Shabbat tunnel. Social media is flooded with Jew hatred. It was not one bad comment from one bad actor, says resident. First of all, there wouldn't be so much Jew hatred if, for one, you guys didn't study and practice the Talmud, the Babylonian Talmud. Two, during your circumcision process, you have this dude, his name is a moil. Their language is so gross. Hebrew is a disgusting fucking language. Moil. I'm a moil. I'm a moil. They literally, during the circumcision process, the moil, the rabbi moil, whatever, sucks the foreskin off of the little baby boy with his mouth. That's literal vampirism. That's disgusting. That's pedophilia. But freedom of religion, Abe. No, there's a point where we draw the line. And I'm a witch. I'm pretty open-minded, you know. But there's a point where I draw the line and go, no, enough is enough. We draw the line here. If y'all would stop doing usury and sucking little baby penises, like, maybe we would probably respect your religion a little more. And you consider us goy. You read the Talmud, they say that sex with a 3-year-old goy is acceptable, you know. They permit lying to goy, you know. It's not a sin to lie to a goy. It's Jewish supremacy, man. When dozens of U.S. Jewish girls emerged from a storm drain... By the way, they say dozens, not 71. I heard it was 71 is the number that I heard. 17 backwards. Almost 72 virgins. Interesting. Wonder if there's some numerology behind any of that. Of U.S. Jewish girls emerged from a storm drain in Nyack, New York, on Wednesday after becoming lost on a school trip. They just became lost on a school trip. 71 Jewish girls on a field trip became lost. How do you lose 71 girls? That's the number I heard. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. This just says dozens. So dozens, even if it's 2 dozens, or 2 dozen, that's 24 girls. Let's just be nice and say it was only 24. 2 dozen. That would technically be dozens. That's 24 girls that just got lost on a field trip, and they just went into a Jewish tunnel, and they happened to be Jewish girls, underage girls, on a school trip. Where are the teachers? I used to go on field trips when I was a kid. We had teachers, we had bus drivers. We also had parent aides, which would be parents who had the day off and would volunteer to go on the field trip with their child and help take care of all the children on the field trip. Where are the adults? I don't know, maybe it's just a goy thing, but we take care of our children. Maybe the chosen ones are just different about that type of shit. So local officials described the episode as an unfortunate ending to a potential dangerous situation. Gee, you think dozens of girls? And by the way, no boys, all girls. On social media, however, the incident quickly drew a slew of anti-Semitic comments. Quote, "They can't help it. Roaches and rats love the sewers," one Facebook user wrote. I mean, those tunnels were promised to them 3,000 years ago. And by the way, that shit's hilarious too, because like Palestine was promised to them 3,000 years ago. First of all, Israel is a young nation. They celebrated their 100-year anniversary. It was a 100-year anniversary or 150 years anniversary. I think it was a 100-year anniversary. I think it was last year they celebrated their 100. Well, actually, it might have been earlier this year. They were celebrating their 100-year anniversary of Israel. And somebody just commented, just basic math, you know. If you've only been around for 100 years ago now, like, how did God promise you this land 3,000 years ago? I thought you guys were around for 3,000 years. You know, interesting. The math ain't adding up. The math ain't mathin', as we say in Kentucky. The math ain't mathin', you know. Another user wrote, referencing the common online anti-Semitic phrase, ridiculing the Jewish connection to Israel. Well, yeah. Zionism. Many of the comments also referenced the 2024 incident of the Chabad Lubavitch. By the way, Chabad Lubavitch, Chabad. Imagine BAD bad would be in the middle of it too. Lubavitch, Lubavitch. Right there. Vitch, by the way. Vitch is German for witch, if you don't know. And by the way, I'm a witch. I'm an occultist, but I ain't this type of witch. You guys need to pay very close attention to what the Chabad Lubavitch is doing and what they're about. I have been studying them for like a year now. Chabad Lubavitch. Not good shit. Some real weird Talmudian shit, man. Talmudic, not Talmudian. Talmudic shit. Babylonian Talmud. It's 14 books. I'm not saying you got to read all 14, but just type in Talmud and you'll find all sorts of shit of what they think about us goy and what they believe. They're into pedophilia. They are into cannibalism. They look at us less than dogs, less than cattle. They actually consider cows and dogs higher than us Gentiles. Meaning they're allowed to eat and fuck us. It's pretty disgusting. So the world headquarters in Crown Heights, Brooklyn, is where this happened, in which a group from the movement attempted to dig an unauthorized tunnel beneath the building. And supposedly the reason was, let me hash this up for you. Supposedly, like, New York was saying, like, hey, nobody can have church. And this is the spin they put on it. Nobody can have church because of COVID. By the way, I'm all for freedom of religion as long as you are not harming animals, children, or other people. As long as there's no physical or sexual harm going on, I'm all for freedom of religion. As far as animals, children, or people, or like adults, you know. I said people, sorry, but you know what I'm saying. So the spin that they put on it was, well, we were shut down by COVID, so then everyone felt sympathy for them. But then when you see the footage, when the police were raiding the synagogue underneath the secret tunnels, there was literally like buckets and full of piss and shit. There was a mattress with blood and shit on it. What the fuck was going on that mattress? Why is there a mattress in an underground tunnel of a synagogue? Aren't you guys supposed to be having church down there? Why is there blood and shit all over it? Creepy, weird shit. Literally, shit. No pun intended. I didn't even mean to. From the tunnels in Brooklyn to the tunnels of Nyack, the black coats never disappoint, one user wrote. Yeah, they are kind of like the Men in Black. Maybe that's a Men in Black connection that we never put forth. I've covered the Men in Black for years. Maybe the Men in Black were actually like Hasidic Jews, like, because they all wear the fedoras, you know. Here, let me grab mine. Let me get my locks going, you know. I actually, ooh, there you go. I kind of look Jewish today. I gotta curl them though. I ain't gonna curl them. I like mine straight. I need the little black cube on my head. Some Saturn worship. So, but yeah, maybe there's a connection to the Men in Black and the Hasidics, you know, and the what was it, the Shabbat, what was it, they call him Shabbat Lubavitch. They're drawn to the tunnels naturally, and natural instinct. Well, yeah, that's what goblins are based off of. That's what I've heard. They love gold, big hook nose. They stay in underground tunnels. It's almost like they were like fae folk back in the day, and all of our ancients, the Gaels and the Celts and the Germanic tribes, the Welsh. It's almost like they were telling us and warning us about a certain race of fae or beings that were greedy and evil and had underground tunnels and liked to kidnap little girls, you know, little boys. Go watch The Labyrinth. Good movie. David Bowie. The girls, students from the Taurus Amaku School in Monsey, New York, had been visiting Nyack Memorial Park on a school trip when they entered a large drainage culvert located in the park, according to Orangetown Police Department. While walking through the tunnel system, the students got lost, but were heard by individuals in the town who alerted police, according to Nyack Mayor Joseph Rand. Where the fuck are the teachers? So you have dozens of students, girls, go missing on a field trip into a tunnel underneath New York. They happen to be Jewish, by the way. And we all know about the Jewish tunnels and the urban explorers who were sighted. The urban explorers who were sighted with all this weird tunnel shit recently. When is too many coincidences? Like, what the fuck's going on here? First responders immediately came to the scene and located all the girls at various points in Nyack. Rand wrote in a Facebook post, technically none of the girls were quote-unquote rescued because they all came out under their own power. But Everyone's lucky that the authorities responded and figured out where all the girls were as quickly as they did. By the way, dude, like, I'm all for freedom of religion. Like, if you're a Hebrew, not a Jew, but a Hebrew, and you're practicing Torah, even I don't like the Torah. I talk shit about the Torah because I think it's a stupid, disgusting religion. But I also think Christianity is a stupid, disgusting religion. I'm at least acceptable with the Torah and Christianity. Even Islam, to an extent. I still think we should keep our eyes on all of the Abrahamic religions. I'm always paranoid around Abrahamic religion believers because I'm a witch. I'm like, y'all gonna burn me or hang me or gang up on me and try to start a new crusade or something, or Sharia law. But dude, when you start getting into like this crazy Judaism, when they get into the Talmud and Shabbat Lubavitch, just saying, there's something to blood libel. Rand said that roughly 70 students were on the trip, and there were no injuries beyond some cuts and scrapes. Well, thank God the American police force went in there, New York Police Department, because who knows, it wouldn't have been just cuts and scrapes. It would have probably been something more disgusting and something worse. Nyack Village Administrator Andy Stewart told the Jewish Telegraph Agency that the school group had not been given a permit to host a field trip in the park on Wednesday. Oh, nothing shady about that. So apparently you're supposed to have a permit to host a field trip in said park. And they just didn't do that. Nothing shady about that, though. There's nothing weird about that. That's conspiracy theory, man. So, it was definitely a concern over the violation of that law. He wasn't sure how the local government would follow up with the school. Let's see. New York and California are pretty much controlled and run by the chosen people, so nothing is going to come of this. Yeah, so look the other way. Nothing happened. Nothing. It's cool. This is a group that did not have a permit, so we didn't know that they were there, and they made no plans with that village, Stewart said. The Taurus Amaku school did not respond to numerous requests for comment from the Jewish Telegraph Agency. And by the way, this is a pro-Jewish, this is the Times of Israel, and just makes it even sound sketchier. Like, the school doesn't even want to comment. Yeah, nothing to see here. We don't want to comment. That just makes you look guilty and weird as fuck. Because if I'm innocent of something, I'm going to comment. I'm going to say, yeah, dude, like, it was a misunderstanding, blah, 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 blah. Or what did the Jews say? Yada, 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 Yeah, no big deal. Like, we made a mistake, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you're not even commenting, though, that always looks shady as fuck. But while local town officials handled the response to the incident, for some Jewish groups, the online response on Discord, how an innocuous incident can become a vehicle for anti-Semitic rhetoric. Once again, and I'll say this, your people have been kicked out of 109 countries. I'm Irish. I don't think I recall anything historically where we've ever been kicked out of our own country. They didn't like us much when we came to America, through Ellis Island and shit like that. There was anti-Irish propaganda through newspapers and shit, but the Irish have never been kicked out of 109 countries. Oh, I'm part Native American. They put us in camps, but I don't remember Blackfoot and Cowa being kicked out of 109 countries. So in Alcoholics Anonymous, they say there's If you notice that all these problems within your life, there's always one thing that's in common with every single one of those problems in your life. You're included within that problem in your life. So, do you think maybe the problem is you? Love y'all. Please like, share, and subscribe. Y'all have a good day. I have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up in the link below. If you would like to donate to the channel, I will send you a bumper sticker. And I will also send you a signed bookmark. Just hit me up and buy me a coffee if you want to help the channel out. Love y'all.